Hello, church. Scott here. Tuesday. I was away last week. Not really away. No one goes away these days. Just taking a sanity and survival week, but glad to be back with you this week. As I've said, other weeks, miss you like crazy and praying with you in these days, trusting God's with us. He's at work. I don't know if you know, but this is Holy Week. We're heading towards Good Friday and Easter. I'll talk more of that in a moment. One thing I've been mulling a lot, continue to mull a lot on Philippians 4:4-7. That do not be anxious about anything, but with prayer and petition, present your requests to God. It starts with those words, rejoice in the Lord always. I'll say it again, rejoice. And I remember us talking about this in our Philippians study last year, but I've been coming back to that, reading Philippians, asking what is the joy? What is the joy-producing reality of the gospel that in the midst of anxiety can lift us up, give us reason for rejoicing when life feels so tumultuous and exhausting and confusing. There's lots there. I read Philippians and look for it. What are the truths that are named there, the realities? One of them for me that I keep coming back to is that beautiful line at the beginning. It's a well-known text in Philippians 1 where it says, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. And that you is not just me personally or you personally, but it's us. It's the church, the people of God, the community of God, that God has begun something beautiful among us long ago, and he will continue it. And even when life feels out of control, it's gone the way we weren't expecting, he doesn't stop. He's still at work. Yeah, it's a hope that's holding me. I hope it holds you. Philippians 1. Couple of announcements. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has found a way to give over this last month. Like any ministry or organization or just person, like many of us, we're grappling with how do we pay the bills. And we've talked about that in some of our videos. And I know you've talked about it and prayed about it. And many of you have reached out and given in different platforms, found ways to get your checks to us or get online in your giving. And just want to say thank you from us, from the board, from our staff, from our church. We're in this together. We'll continue to press forward together and thankful for your participation in that. On a related note, beyond finances, Lucy posted last week, I think it was last week, a note about a way that we can share in needs together. And so there's a link on the website. If you go to the resources at home portion on the website, there's a bunch of links, Life These Days, the Phone 2 People Initiative, the 1230 prayer, but there's one there called practical care needs. And it's a space and a way for us to share with one another ways that we might have need, that someone else could step in, or maybe some of us have some extra space or capacity or spryness and want to help others, and we'd be glad to put our name down to say I'd be glad to help pick up some groceries for somebody or help it in a practical way. So if you follow the links or go on the website and look up the resources at home and go to practical needs, if you feel like, I've got all this extra time and capacity and I'd be glad to help, or you need some basic help with something, you can go on there. There's someone who's manning it a couple times a day, checking it out, trying to make connections between people's needs and people's gifts and offerings. So hopefully we can continue to be the church together and care for one another in this season. Lastly, as I mentioned, it's Holy Week. Feels like Lent just got thrown out the door, and yet in truth, we're living in a season of self-denial, maybe more than ever. It's almost like we've been thrown into Lent, while it's also maybe liturgically been thrown out. But Easter's still coming. This Friday is Good Friday, Holy Saturday, and Resurrection Sunday. And we look forward to celebrating the resurrection together on Sunday as a church from our distances. I'll be speaking on Mark 16. There's going to be a bit of an Easter celebration expedition that Lucy and Kenzie are plotting for us. And so there's going to be a link probably below if you want to be a part of one side of it, which is decorating your windows. I'll let you look it up, okay? But there's an opportunity for individuals, for us all to be involved if we want, to either be a part of going out and doing something on Sunday as a way to celebrate the resurrection and the story of the gospel, or maybe to help share the story. So look at the link below, and I'm sure all of us could be involved in at least one way, maybe both. But also, as you think about Sundays, you think about this weekend, the resurrection, Easter is not just about me and us and our community. It's about God's love for the world. It's about God's work in the world. And so I want to invite us to think and pray about our neighbors or those people that God has put in our life that he's calling us to reach out to and love and care, and ask God, what would you have me do? God, what would you have us do to express your care, love, presence for another person this weekend on Easter? Lastly, just a tip that Friday, we're obviously not getting together, but we always have our citywide gathering for Good Friday. And the citywide team has done some work, and there will be a link posted available on Friday for us to gather in front of our screens for a 10 o'clock service. There's worship by multiple worship leaders in our city, a message, a Good Friday message preached, and the Lord's Supper led by another pastor in town. And I'm just really glad to be a part of our citywide community. So expect that. Good to be with you. Miss you, friends. Love you. Bye.